So up next, you're in for a treat. Mr. James Rhodes. Mr. Rhodes is the executive director of the Christina Cultural Arts Center here in Wilmington, Delaware. And I cannot wait to so you guys can talk to him. He's just an amazing human being. But most of all, he's just an amazing human being. Mr. Rhodes.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here.
Oh man, again we meet.
Again we meet.
Again we
Absolutely.
meet. Mr. Rhodes, you are doing amazing things at the Christina Cultural Arts. Let's talk about who you are.
Okay, well, grew up here in Wilmington. I like to say I've probably lived in every neighborhood in the city, starting from Riverside to South Bridge to North Side, the West Side up top, West Side down the bottom, then of course living on the East Side, going through high school. As a young boy, I grew up and our city was torn apart by the riots in 1968 after Dr. King was assassinated. And my father and grandfather would bring me downtown, and I asked, what did we need to do to get the city built back up? He said, oh, you're gonna need architects and engineers and contractors. So at the young age, I wanted to be an architect. And it's just so interesting. Ruben mentioned your studio looks phenomenal. This building was designed by I.M. Pei, which was a Chinese architect in New York. And I studied I.M. Pei in school while I was at Hampton. And then I had the absolute fortunate honor to meet I.M. Pei when I worked at Princeton University, and I was signing off on his pay request to get paid for doing buildings on campus. So,
full circle.
Phenomenal architect, phenomenal building, and I.M. Pei also designed the Louvre in Paris. So I went on to become an architect. I practiced architecture for 25 years, but during that time I stayed connected with the community. I tutored, I mentored, I coached basketball. Then after 25 years, it was time to get back into the grind, and I wanted to be more out in the public and do more in the community. So that's when I got into government. I spent 3 years in government. I taught in the classroom for 3 years, mentoring students still, and then this fortunate opportunity I got now as a nonprofit executive is probably the most rewarding of my career.
How long have you been a part of the organization now?
I started back in 1997 as a board member. Ray Jones Avery, my predecessor, recruited me as a board member because of my background in architecture to serve on the facilities committee. And I just knew how hard the work was, but how rewarding it was. So fast forward to 2016, I then became academic coordinator in the evening program. And then when Ray announced that she was leaving, I said, you know what, this might be the opportunity to not try to replace her or walk in her footsteps, but carry on a legacy.
So how is that legacy going so far?
It's going great. We're having a phenomenal time. Like most people, we were affected by COVID-19. We had to transition and pivot a little bit. One of the things we're proud of that we did is you talked about mental health. We could stay connected with our families by finding out what they were going through, what they needed. While we couldn't have classes in the center physically, we reached out and found out that they needed technology help. They needed help with food and housing and clothing. So we couldn't do the food, housing, clothing. But what we did is we started a mental health counseling where we reached out to 6 professionals. We got a grant, they got the service, and we got the bill. And actually service was the name of the program, the social emotional response to the vast inequities caused by epidemics. It's an acronym. We were able to help maybe 60 families, 70 families get free mental health counseling. And it was mandatory that our staff, our executive staff, take advantage of it because of the challenges that we would have. And I tell you what, it's probably the best 4 hours I ever spent.
Yeah, yeah. That was a heck of a challenge. COVID, I think it was like your first year on, right?
The first year, actually 3 months.
3 months in, 3 months in, COVID comes, boom, and you have to now step into the shoes of Ray Avery.
Absolutely.
And then that pivot.
That's right.
And that pivot worked.
It worked.
And along with that program and other, what are some of the other programs that you have that the community can benefit?
Yeah, so Christina is known for School of the Arts. We're 70, going on 77-year-old organization now. We have a School of the Arts program where students can come and adults can come and get intermediate, beginning, intermediate, and advanced lessons in dance, music, drama. We have a literature component where we're talking about the importance of literature and reading because literacy is a big issue. We have an internship program, and you're a benefactor of one of that program where we take interns and put them in creative industries. We provide them with the tools necessary to not only get into those positions, but how do they stay in those positions. Right. We have an after-school program we call Heart Under the Hoodie. It's a tribute to Trayvon Martin, where we teach them that their lives are worth more than a bottle of iced tea and a bag of Skittles. We teach them life lessons. We help them to deal with the vices that they deal with in their communities, in their homes. For example, we like to say that we teach them how to beat on drums instead of each other, in particular our women, how to shoot guns, how to not shoot guns, but shoot cameras instead, and how to act out on stages instead of acting out in their classroom and communities. And in this program, we teach them how to offset those vices that they deal with in their community. And of course, we have a 5-star early learning center where we are aggressively putting 3, 4, and 5-year-olds on track to be able to read by 3rd grade using arts, music.
Excellent.
Love it.
As a firm believer of promoting literacy, especially starting at a young age, which you know, Ivan, that's near and dear to my heart, I think that's so important to encourage and implement the literacy skills starting at the age of 3 and continuing to help them practice by providing them with the materials and providing them with the support, which you do at CCAC program. I did have an opportunity to look through the website, which I thought was very informative, very helpful for anyone that's just trying to figure out what are the resources and the education that that you're offering, and you do what you said. You're offering so much to the community for individuals. I mean, the performing arts, big. Right. That's a big one, and I love that that was emphasized. I love literacy, literature, promoting that, and then obviously all these other resources which you're providing. Now, is it free?
Yeah, so we have a sliding scale. Actually, right now we have a number of resources that provide full scholarships to students. So you want to sign up, you just come and say, you know, the executive director told me I can come sign up and get a free class. You get a free class, but what we do is we look at your income to determine how much you pay. So for a $500 class, you might pay only $100. You might pay $200. But we're affordable, and that's what we pledge ourselves on, being affordable. We don't want parents and families to have to choose between paying an electric bill, a light bill, or putting their student through dance and drama classes. And again, we know a lot of families can't afford it, so we make it affordable. So right now, you could probably come and get a full scholarship for any of our classes.
That's wonderful.
Well, I just love CCAC. I'm telling you, because it's been around when I was a kid. I'm really sounding like I'm like 70 years old. I want to talk to you about, like, how can other people get involved and how can they support? And also, I know you got Do More 24 coming up. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so, you know, Christina, we probably get, I would say, 60% of our funding through grants and through donations. We do get government assistance and private donations, but anyone can make a donation on our website, www.ccacde.org, or they can come in, they can mail it in. We're at 705 North Market Street, right down in the business district here in Wilmington. But we participate in Do More 24. United Way is one of our bigger supporters, and when they have these campaigns, we make sure that we get on it using social media, you know, Facebook, IG, and those other instruments. So we have a catered end of the year annual appeal campaign, which went well for us last year. And even through the pandemic, despite the challenges, Christina has probably had his best 2 years in 2021 and 2020.
Wow. How many kids? How many kids do you have?
On average, well, in our early learning center, we have 40 students, which is the max based on our size. On average, in our School of the Arts, at any given time, we have 160, 170 students. When I say students, I'm talking youth to adult. I'm actually taking saxophone lessons.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. So
there you go.
I played back in 6th and 7th grade, gave it up to play sports, but being inspired by the students there, you know, I wanted to pick it back up. So I have a wonderful instructor who's doing phenomenal things. So in that program, our FESIP program, we have about 30 students, 20 to 30 students. And then, of course, we have a number of events throughout the year, performances where we probably get maybe 200 to 300 guests a year. But on average, we touch maybe between 25 and 3,000 people a year throughout the galleries and all of our programs.
Love it.
So you do have many events that happen throughout the year.
Absolutely.
And I was reading that you have something coming up called Saturday Conversations with B.B. Coker. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
You can't talk about history, I would say, in this city, in this state, without mentioning, and I'm not going to say Black history, I'm just going to say history, but since we're on Black history, let's talk about, you can't talk about Black history in this city without mentioning B.B. Coker. And when we talk about partnerships, BB wanted the partnership with us where she could come on Saturdays and have conversations with our students about the important events, the important people, the important times in Black history, because we know in school they don't get it. So we scheduled February 19th and 26th to have BB come to Christina from 10 to 12. We'll provide breakfast and a light a lunch for students. It's open to the public. It's free. Where BB's just going to drop her pearls of wisdom. And if you ever had a conversation with BB, you'd be begging for more. Like so.
Now, if I'm correct, Ivan, she's been on the show before.
She was on the show, right, when with Jordan.
Right.
It was BB and her daughter, Joan Coker.
And I remember we watched the show, the interview, and I right away, I felt like the connection. I felt that she has this way of captivating an audience.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And it seemed, I never met her, but I feel just from her, the way she carried herself on camera, that wow, she is so powerful and influential, and I hope to meet her someday. So maybe,
and we're going to continue it.
Okay,
We wanted to kick it off for Black History Month, but this is going to be a
continue
continuous event throughout the years, where BB come in once or twice a month and talk to our students about important facts in our history.
Nice. Other events you got coming up? I saw the post by that dude, Richard Raw.
We're excited to have Richard Raw. If anybody hasn't seen Richard Raw, you need to get your tickets. February 26th, he will be at Christina. Him and his Road Warrior Band. Rich is a phenomenal, again, partner of ours. He teaches in our Heart Under the Hoodie program. He helps students how to create music and videos, and he's a social activist as well. He will be there tonight. Stacy Harcum, my instructor, will be partnering with the Root and Line Library to teach them about rhythm, teach students about rhythm, and then Tiana Sanders will be there Friday to teach on dance. And then, of course, Saturday we partnered with the Delaware Library and Route 9 Library to talk about how poets can be inspired by students by creating a wayfinding class for them to be able to help inspire poets. So a lot going on this month.
Daggone right. Give them that website again, man.
www.ccacde.org.
Well, Mr. Rhodes, it's time to come to an end. Well, not an end, but we'll see you again soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming and joining us.
I'm honored. It's an honor to come in and come talk to you guys. Thank you. You're doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you. And he's not just the executive director, but he's also Delaware's top well-dressed man.
Yes. First thing I said when you walked in.
He's sharp.
You're looking dapper, Mr. Rhodes. I love the way you dressed today.
Thanks again for coming.
I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you again.